any news on Brandon Smith, Hoops?
Yeah, as we've been saying for the past week, BA, I think all roads are definitely leading to Heffron Park and the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Crazy to think, given the rivalry between the Chooks and the Bunnies over the years, but the way it's shaping up at the moment, Souths are just having a look at Brandon's medical records over the course of the next week or two. I think this deal, in all likelihood, will be done within the next fortnight. It'll be a 2-year contract for 26 and 27, and I think that in all likelihood, Brandon plays hooker, so he fits into the dummy half role at South Sydney. And then it'll be a matter of whether the Roosters and Souths can break bread to a degree and agree to some sort of uneasy truce for Brandon to possibly leave early if the Roosters are open to that. Yeah, but the Roosters would have to be open to it.
That'd be a crazy deal for South, wouldn't it? Coming back from an ACL, not going to be at your best.
Depends on how much you have to. Depends on how much you have to put in. Depends on the price. It all depends on the price, right? Yeah. They're not going to be able to stump up too much for this year. And
I can't imagine the Roosters paying South to give them.
It's going to be interesting because initially they said absolutely point blank no way last year, but there's a view that that might have softened to a degree and that maybe they just want to go in a completely different direction. To your point, Gordy, about whether it's a good signing or not, I actually think it can be. Like Brandon, he was a damn good player at the Melbourne Storm. He's a premiership winner. He hasn't forgotten how to play. For whatever reason, it hasn't worked out at the Chooks, but I think change of environment, different coach could be very good for him.
Let's drill down a little bit on this. He was a highly touted, arguably by the year at the time for the Roosters to sign Brandon Smith from Melbourne. He was starting behind Harry Grant in Melbourne. He believed he was a starting nine in a premier club. The Roosters go and pay big dollars for him, and now it ends like this. It's kind of...
But they got it wrong, right? You can sit there and dissect this signing all you like. They got that one wrong, and it's interesting the fact that he was going to go to the Dolphins under Wayne Bennett, and it was only a meeting with Trent Robinson which swayed him late to join the Roosters. But it hasn't worked out for either party, and it goes back to the question: I honestly think he's a better run in 13 than he is.
So why will it work at South then?
I think Wayne Bennett's got a great track record with players who have had challenges and have had hurdles and hit hurdles and gone a little bit sideways. It's proven over. It is, Gordon. You've seen it. You've seen it first.
Mate, I've seen the crash. I've seen
big
Grand Poppy Wayne coming.
Brandon's had to overcome an ACL and an MCL over the course of the last 9 months. But I just get the feeling.
Just to confirm, they're buying him as a 9 too.
Yeah, that's what I've been told.
But in my opinion, right, Brandon Smith's never been an 80-minute player. When you watched him at Melbourne Storm, Harry Grant played or Cameron Smith, he'd come on and for that 30 minutes, we'd just go, wow. Yeah. Like the Wombat, he'd be burrowing through. He'd either take a hit up or he'd do a second dummy half run. He wasn't a guy starting, settling his way into a game, kicking and passing. He was just a pure
like a impact. Ball out of the gate, throwing line, impact.
And then that's what they bought and try to turn him into an 80-minute player. I think he's a great 30, 40-minute player.
All right, now, does the pressure start to ramp up on Benji if the Tigers don't start winning games?
Oh, jeez, it's early
doors. I say that for a few reasons, because look at the draw they've got, right? They've got a pretty good draw, as you can see here. They're coming up against Parramatta this weekend. They had a strong start to the year last week, against the Knights. Couldn't get it done, which is okay because they're a new team. Now, they've got Buller and Coruscant coming back in. They've got arguably their strongest lineup that they can put on a footy field. If they start, none from three, there's going to be pressure, right?
No question, Braith. Look, it's going to be one of the bigger narratives of the year. I think Shane Richardson said over the course of the summer that with those two players you just mentioned there, Jareen Buller and Api Coruscant, neither of which played last week, I think he labelled it the best spine, did he?
In the competition.
Yeah, so I mean that's
one of the best spines in the competition.
One of the best spines in the competition. And
surely he said one of.
Yeah, I think
I'll just for his sake.
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
With Melbourne Storm out there.
But you do look at that spine, and look, it's elite. Appy's a premiership winner, Jerome's a premiership winner, Jareem's an emerging star, as is Lockie Galvin. So you're right, they have got an easier draw to start the year off the back of 3 wooden spoons. So there's no doubt they have to win games.
By no means do I think they're going to have a poor start. I actually think they'll win a fair few of these games. I'm only saying that the scenario with the squad they've got, the draw they've got, it's only going to get harder as the season goes on. They need wins.
Broncos and Sharks, they should back themselves to win every other game.
Yeah.
You would think, if I'm a Tigers fan and if I'm a Tigers player.
Yeah, and they had reasons for their poor attack last week, but they didn't have reasons for their poor defence, and that was the concerning thing because, you pull the 1 and 9 out of any starting spine and your attack's going to be disjointed. Luai and Galvin haven't had a lot of reps together because Luai had that injury after that Army camp, but that defence was poor, and that's what they need to fix.
Yeah, I know it's only round 2, but it is a huge game for the West Tigers already. Now, our key player matchups brought to you by Aussie Broadband R.
Huge game, the 4-time premiers up against the Chooks, and the Chooks are really up against it. I'm saying New South Wales and Kangaroo teammates, Angus Crichton and Liam Martin. Both edge back rowers, probably the 2 best back rowers in the competition. How much of an influence Angus can have given all the troops that the Chooks are missing, not sure, but that'll be a hell of a battle.
Yeah, this one's gone under the radar a little bit. The Safidi boys get to go head-to-head against each other for the first time tomorrow night. I've spoken with Daniel for tomorrow's paper, and they said that the boys have made a pact. First kick-off, they're going straight for each other.
Okay.
So stay tuned for that one.